very well in the interview. But after working in the company for some weeks, right, you start to feel that he or she is a totally or completely different person. Okay, I mean, his word is bigger than his action. So what went wrong during the hiring process? Is it still to my wrong judgment, or is the candidate too smart or too good to hide himself, to hide in true color? So that's why today we are here to learn some very useful hiring tips and strategy from our guest speaker. So our guest speaker, I prefer to call him Sifu because he's my Sifu. You can call him Sifu, Jeffrey, Master Jeffrey, or Mr. Jeffrey. Also can whatever you can. I mean, it's up to you. Okay, but I like to address him as Sifu, Jeffrey. So this is the third time sharing in our ISSS event. Okay, but this is the first time he's using English to conduct this event. Okay, because we are Satu Malaysia, we're one Malaysia, because we want to take care of all our all walks of the audience, be it Malay or Indian or Chinese. Okay, so we want all of the people get benefited from him. So that's why today it's our pleasure to have Mr. Jeffrey here again to share some tips and strategy on how to hire the right candidates. Okay, so Mr. Jeffrey himself is a Master of Business Administration in Australia, and he served as an executive director of a company with a market value of over 100 million ringgit Malaysia. And currently he's serving as real estate CEO coach. So under such big and solid foundation, right, we will get the right person to talk to us on how to hire the right candidate. Right, so before I officially welcome our guest speaker, why don't we all type 111 111 in the chat box to welcome our guest speaker? Is it cool? All right, let me see the response. Oh, wow, okay, a lot of people typing 111. Okay, that's great. Okay, Sifu, are you ready? If you are ready,
okay, thank you.
All right, good learning, guys.
Give me a little bit of time. Let me arrange my thing.
Yes. Sifu is already aged more than 70 years old, but then he still want to, I mean, how to say, learn himself.
Can you see my slide?
Not yet. It hasn't come out.
Okay.
Okay, we give some time to Sifu. All right. Ta-da, yes.
Can you see now?
Yes, can see now.
Can see,
Yeah, carry on, yes. Sifu, we want to put the slide on full screen. Yeah, on the full screen mode.
Full screen, huh?
Yeah, full screen mode.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to this webinar organized by iSuccess. I'm proud to be the speaker for today's topic, how to hire the right candidates. Why do I choose these specific topics for today? There are two reasons behind. Firstly, let me introduce myself first. I'm Jeffrey Koh. I'm currently the CEO coach of Visit Malaysia. I've been in this job for 6 years after my retirement 6 years ago. I'm currently 71 years old, not very young, neither too old. I'm coaching 2 different groups of CEO. This is one of them. This is the other. Before my retirement, I was the executive director of Kin Misram Sdn Berhad, which is a subsidiary of Kin Holding Berhad. I've been there for more than 23 years. My last position was executive director. I'm glad to hold an MBA major in marketing from Australia. I'm also a HRDF certified trainer. Okay, my sharing motive for today is because bad hiring or hiring the wrong candidates has been a neglected issue for many companies. Why do I say so? Because a lot of bosses and department heads were involved in the hiring and interviewing process, but very few of them have been properly trained to do the job. Okay. Secondly, bad hiring has been a critical issue because it has caused a huge negative impact to many companies. Why is that so? Because, as you know, only competent employees are vital assets to a company. If you happen to hire a wrong one, then that can cost you a lot of liabilities. So, hopefully, today's sharing can help you to ease off some of your problems. Best of luck. My sharing outline for today, I will take you through the root causes of bad hiring decision. Why you hired the wrong person, the two root causes. And then I will take you through the correct hiring strategy. What is the correct way to hire your desired candidate? And thirdly, I will show you how to conduct proper interview using a scientific approach, instead of our conventional and traditional interview methods. Then, number 4, I will show you 10 different examples how to apply this hiring strategy and interview techniques for 10 different positions. After going through this so-called competency interviewing and hiring in action, I'm very sure you will be able to master the techniques, the correct techniques of hiring and interview to get the right candidates. And finally, we will have an Q&A. While I take you through this whole sharing today, if you have any question, you can always write it down in the chat box, and then the MC will collect it and we will discuss it from time to time. Okay, there are actually 2 root causes of hiring the wrong candidates. Number 1 is basically the wrong hiring strategy. That means your strategy is wrong. Your hiring criteria is wrong. The second reason being the wrong interviewing technique. The wrong interview techniques. What do you mean by wrong hiring strategy? You aim at the wrong target. Aim at the wrong target. And wrong interviewing approach will end up selecting the wrong candidates instead of the one you are aiming for. Why? Because our conventional interview techniques use basically your gut feel instead of based on facts. So today we are going to do a revolutionary interviewing techniques altogether. Now, sometimes it can be because you started with the wrong hiring criteria. Or sometimes your criteria is okay, but you have a wrong interview techniques. So you end up selecting the wrong person instead of the one that you are aiming for. Sometimes it's because of both. So what is actually wrong with our conventional recruitment strategy? I would say that is simply because we stresses on working experience of your candidates instead of stressing on past performance. This is the main issue: working experience and not past performance. As you know, experience without great performance may not be productive. Or I will take you through two different examples to illustrate this point. Let's say we have a candidate A with 10 years of working experience in sales, but do not have any outstanding record. Do you think he's a right candidate for you to fill out your sales position? Do you think so? If you think yes, give me the answer, give me a 1. If you think no, give me a 2. Put it in a chat box. I would like to see what is your thoughts. Okay, very good, 2. I'm glad to see that. Before I take you through the new hiring technique, you have really mastered the correct strategy, correct? Okay, well done. Give yourself a clap. You have rightly said, you have rightly indicated this candidate may not have the right caliber or potential, because experience without the proper, without outstanding record at the same time may not mean anything to you, may not be meaningful. Or pure experience alone does not help. Okay, I give you another candidate. Candidate B with only 2 years of sales experience, but he topped the performance list for 2 years. How do you like these candidates? If you like this candidate, put a 1. Let me see. Okay, very good. So we can safely draw a conclusion that pure working experience could be a misleading criteria. So we cannot base our hiring decision. You cannot make a hiring decision based on pure working experience, because it could be misleading. It could lead you into disaster. So what is our correct focus? We should focus on experience plus achievement. A number of years of working experience with great achievements or with outstanding track records. That should be the things that we should look for, instead of just look for how many years of working experience. I think that is a wrong focus. Please. Now, this experience plus achievement will be equal to what we call competency, or the correct attribute for effective performance. Competency, or the correct caliber for him to do a good job. So let's start with the right hiring criteria and then aim at the right target. Because if your target is wrong, no matter what you do in your interviewing, cannot make it right. So a good start, a good beginning is always most decisive. Let's start with the correct hiring criteria based on achievement, past achievement. Of course, the past achievement come from experience. Then what about our conventional interviewing technique? What is it wrong with our conventional interviewing techniques? As you may be aware, our conventional interviewing technique focuses on only those information that are already apparent or available on the application form. For example, where have you been working? What were you doing? And things like that. This information written on the application form is not enough for you to uncover a person's caliber in order required to do a good job. What you should actually be doing is, apart from this information, general information written on the application form, you should also try to uncover some other critical information like character, like skills, like knowledge. This is what we fail to do in our conventional interviewing methods. So at the end, that's why at the end of the interview, we only managed to obtain a certain information about the candidates. We cannot see a complete a complete knowledge of the candidates. That is the whole trouble. Now, this is an iceberg. Iceberg has two portions. One is above the water. The other portion is what lies underneath the waters. And conventional interviewing techniques only allow us to see a portion of the iceberg, not a complete picture of the iceberg. And we cannot see what lies underneath the water. That is the whole trouble of conventional interview technique, because we did not do enough effort, do enough to uncover that those that are not visible through his external appearance. So because of the incomplete information and because of the facts that we have to rely on our hiring decision after the interview to base on gut feel, so that causes the low success rate for these traditional hiring and selection or interviewing methods. The success rate is less than 20%. That means out of every 10% you hire, less than 2% can actually do a good job. That is a bit damaging. It is a bit damaging, okay? It will cost you a lot of resources in terms of times and money and effort. So how do we hire the correct candidate then? Do we still want to base our hiring decision based on experience, or we should from now on switch to competency? I'm sure you would like to switch to competency now, I'm sure. Now, Dr. David McClellan, a Harvard professor, at the same time also a psychologist, he advocated that we should hire based on competency. You hire your candidate based on competency, not based on experience alone, but based on competency. What is actually competency? Competency actually is a blend, a combination of three different things. I will explain to you later. But generally, competency is the attributes, is a human attributes required to perform a task efficiently or effectively. It's the correct attribute for effective performance. Okay, let's take a deeper look at competency itself. What is competency? Competency actually consists of three different elements. Consists of knowledge, skills and ability, as well as character. It's a combination of these three critical success factors. And which one is more important? Actually, all three are equally important. If you want a candidate to perform well, then he is required to possess these three elements together. He cannot just have knowledge alone, neither can he have just skills or even just character, also not enough. You need to have a blend of the three, for effective performance. Now, as you know, knowledge can be trained or can be enhanced. So is skills and ability. But there's one element that cannot be trained, cannot easily be changed. That is character. So you know what to look for in your candidates. Character is certainly one of the elements you must emphasize because it can never be changed. But the other two can always be trained through your training and development after employment. So because of the fact that out of these three elements, one cannot be trained or cannot be changed, and the other two can be possibly enhanced through training and development. So these facts affect our hiring decision. Why do I say so? It is because, because when you making a hiring decision, you may not come across your ideal candidates that possess a blend of the three elements. So you have to consider it differently. I will take you through later. Now, why did McLaren stress on the importance of competency? Basically because number one, firstly, competency is a critical success factor behind every success story that could be re-engineered or recreated, regenerated. Of course, a windfall from the sky is a different story. You may not require any success factor at all. But if we are talking about any achievement or success story that can be re-engineered or regenerated over and over again, then there is some important factor called competency behind every success or achievement. So therefore, competency is the ingredient you must look for in your candidates' competency. Okay. Secondly, competency does not easily disappear. So if you get a candidate with the appropriate competency, his competency will not disappear overnight or just because he has changed his job. The competency will stay with him forever. Competency will not vanish or disappear. Another reason being, candidates with the correct competency will have high chances of doing well in your company, provided you give him sufficient support and assistance. I want to stress the importance of giving him sufficient support and assistance. If you fail to give him the due support and assistance, that may affect his performance in your company. Okay. So if you wish to regenerate new success stories, then you have to do one thing. That is change your hiring decision to higher competency and nothing else. Higher competency. Anything? Okay, higher competency. If you want to generate new sales success story on sales, then what you should look for is sales competency. Likewise, if you want to engineer marketing success story, then of course you have to look for marketing competency. If you want to look for good financial achievements or success story, then look for financial competency and so forth. Okay. A sales candidate with sales competency will certainly do well in a sales function. In a sales function, sales competency in a sales function, not in a different function. If you give him the due support and assistance. Oh, okay. Similarly, this is the same rationale goes to getting a warrior to deal with a tiger. If a warrior who has beaten the tiger before can certainly deal with the tiger well. Can you see the same rationale? If you have the competency to do certain things, you will certainly have a good possibility of doing it well. Now, let's dig in a little bit deeper about knowledge. What is knowledge actually? Knowledge is about know-how, about information, or about certain concepts. Knowledge. Okay. Now, example of knowledge could be professional knowledge like accounting knowledge, engineering knowledge, medical knowledge, legal knowledge, and so forth. Then on the other side, also we have such thing known as product knowledge. Product knowledge, which can be trained, can be acquired. Professional knowledge may take a longer time, may take 2-3 years for you to acquire through academic institutions or through your education journey. The other knowledge, it could be market knowledge. That means how much do you know about the market that you operate? The things about knowledge is they cannot be seen or they cannot be felt. So you have to do something to uncover it. You will not be able to judge whether a person possesses enough knowledge about product or about market or about his technical knowledge just based on his appearance. You have to do something to uncover all this information. I will teach you how to do it later on. Now, what about skills and ability? Skills and ability is your ability or your success to apply what you know into action. Applying your knowledge and convert them into action is your skills and ability to do it. Now, what are the common skills and ability that we come across in our interviewing or in our employee? For example, we have articulations. Articulation is your ability to express yourself. Analytical, be able to analyze a problem, to uncover the root cause and solution. Your presentation skill, your problem solving skill, your leading skill, your leadership skill, your strategic planning skill, your communication skill, your interpersonal skill, or your convincing ability, your management skill, your execution skill. These are examples of typical skills and ability. Again, skills and ability can be trained, can be nurtured. Bear in mind that they can be nurtured. But similar to knowledge, they cannot be seen nor felt through external appearance. You have to do something to uncover it yourself through the art of interviewing. Okay, lastly, character. Character, among the three elements, character is the most important one, simply because it cannot be changed. It cannot be changed, not easy to be changed after they have grown up. Example of character are passions, pleasant, passionate about the job, about certain job, very pleasant looking, a pleasant character, hardworking, responsible, reliable, very detailed, emphasize on detail, and very proactive. No need to be pushed or supervised. You know how to take your own initiative. Very progressive, always on the move to improve yourself. Very stable emotionally. You don't lose your temper easily. A very caring character. So these are examples of characters. So character is more about your personality or your mental attribute, your mental setup. Character cannot be seen, not visible through your appearance, but it's only visible through your behavior. Through a person's behavior, you can analyze his character. You can uncover his character. So all the three elements of competency, the knowledge, the skills, and the characters, all of them cannot be seen nor felt externally through external appearance. You need to take certain steps to uncover it, through the art of interviewing. I have mentioned before, for satisfactory performance, all three are necessary. All three are equally important. For a candidate to perform his work well, he needs to have all these three. Knowledge to do the job, skills to do the job, and also character to turn everything into actions, to motivate all the action, to convert all the knowledge and skill into action. But in the actual hiring scenario, you need to consider differently, because an ideal candidate which have an ideal combination of all the three elements, have both knowledge, skills, and the right character, may not come by so easily, may not come to you. So in other words, an ideal candidate may not appear for your selection. So what should we do then? We need to prioritize on certain indispensable element. In this case, is character. Why? Character is one of the elements for competency, and which cannot be changed. So that means character has to be there right from the beginning. Other things like other shortfalls in terms of knowledge and skills can always be bridged, can always be nurtured through training and development later on, except character. So when you hire your candidates, you must first go for character first. Whether your candidate have the correct character or not that you want. For example, hardworking, reliable, pleasant, determined, analytical, and things like that, depending on the job. Okay. Now, let me give you an example. For example, in positions like finance, production, engineering, medical, legal, etc. Certainly, the proper knowledge, professional knowledge, and technical knowledge is a prerequisite, is critical. Okay. Why do I say so? Because it's impractical for you to train a candidate to process all the financial knowledge, production knowledge, engineering knowledge, medical knowledge. That is not practical. So if you are looking for someone to fill up position like finance, production, engineering, medical, and legal, it's always advisable to go for candidates who possess the equivalent, the relevant professional knowledge. Having said that, it doesn't mean that character is not important. Character is still the critical element. So in position like this 5, you have to go for professional knowledge as well as character. The two are equally important. But character is important for all positions. It's just that in all these technical positions or professional positions, professional knowledge are equally important. Now, what about a finance, employing somebody to fill up a financial position? What do you need? What sort of how do you deal with the 3 different elements in competency? Like I said just now, number 1, the character must be correct. If the character is wrong, you cannot expect good outcome. But next one, you go for professional knowledge like accounting knowledge, financial knowledge. Other skills, shortfall in skills in terms of financial planning or financial reporting can always be nurtured or can always be enhanced later on through training. So the emphasis is on knowledge and character, professional knowledge and character. Likewise, for a professional executive for a production position, related position, you need to go for production knowledge or technical knowledge or engineering knowledge, as well as character. Other skills, communication skill, presentation skill, and so forth can always be trained and nurtured later on. Because it's difficult for you to come across someone who possess all the 3 factors that you require. You may not be so lucky to come across such an ideal candidate. Likewise, for a marketing related position, marketing executive, what type of competency should you look for? You look for marketing knowledge. For example, marketing 5 Ps. And then you must go for the correct character. What kind of character? Passionate about marketing, strategic minded, very analytical, and so forth. Then other things like online media, presentation, communication, all this can always be enhanced later. Understand what are critically important, what are nice to have. Okay. What about a manager? If you want to look for a manager, what sort of competency do you look for? I would say that you need to look for both, all of them. A manager need to have professional knowledge, depending on the position. If he's a production manager, certainly he need to have production knowledge. If he's a financial manager, you certainly need to have financial knowledge. And you also need to have people skills, because a manager is a people's manager. He is dealing with managing people. So people skill is certainly critical. A manager is involved in solving problems. So problem solving skill is also important. Leadership, planning, and so forth. And lastly, but not least, the correct character. A manager must be proactive, must be reliable. A manager need not wait to be pushed to do certain things. He have to take his initiative. So for a manager position, you need a combination of the three. It's different from other executive or non-managerial position. So for manager position, it's slightly more demanding. Now for other position like sales function, a sales function may not require any professional knowledge. What you need to look for is character and certain selling skills. Things like product knowledge and market knowledge are ideal, but not essential. It's nice to have, but you may not be able to come across an ideal candidate that possesses everything. Because an ideal candidate may not come to you. He should have been doing well in another company. Not so likely he will come to your company and look for a job. So sales executive, what should you look for? Look for character. Look for certain skills. What sort of character? Determined, hardworking, pleasant, sincere, and other things, depending on what you are looking for. And what sort of skills? Selling skill, presentation skill, ability to express himself, communication, convincing power, convincing ability. These are more important compared to knowledge. Knowledge such as product knowledge can always be trained. Okay, so if you are looking for a sales position involving electrical products, don't need to look for candidates that come from the same electrical industry. It's not necessary. If you insist of doing that, you are just narrowing down your scope of selection. Okay, it can come from, as long as it's come from a sales position before, it can always come from a different product industry. It's okay, doesn't matter. What you need is the character and the selling skill, whether you are selling electrical product or you are selling furniture. The presentation skill, the selling skill, the convincing ability are all the same. And the character are all the same also. The only difference involved being the product knowledge and the market knowledge, which can always be trained. Now let's take a look at some of the companies, the progressive or established companies in the West. What do they look for? What do they look for in hiring? Now, this Porsche chairman or co-founder, Peter Soot, he emphasized that we should hire character. But he did never neglect the importance of training to enhance the skills. So what his motto is, hire character, develop skills. Okay, hire character, because character is the most important criteria to him. Character is said to be the driving force behind every performance. Behind every performance, characters are involved. Individual characters are involved, such as hardworking, never give up, analytical, and things like that. Why he emphasized on character? As I have mentioned earlier, character cannot be changed. So if you want to hire a person to sell Porsche, you need to hire a person, a candidate with a proper character, because it represents the image of the company. You cannot employ someone who is unreliable, someone who is not honest, and other negative character. So character is very important because it represents the image of your company, and character cannot be changed. Other things like skills and ability, they are very important, but they can always be trained and nurtured. Let's take a look at another example. Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey is a management guru in America. He's the author of the famous book among CEOs known as 7 Habits for Effective People. What did he say about hiring? He said that he emphasized on passion. He said if you hire a person who is passionate about the job that he is doing, then he doesn't require any supervision at all. He will know how to manage himself, and his inspiration and energy will come from himself and not from other people. He's self-motivated. He don't need anybody to motivate him. How do you like to employ such a candidate? That is a wonderful candidate choice, right? I give you another example. Jim Collins, the author of the famous book called Good to Great. I'm sure many of you have come across this book. This book is an account of about, I think about 20 over US companies who are listed in Fortune 500. These 25 companies have progressed well for continuously 25 years, and their performance is above market average. Consistently for 25 years, they are considered great company, not just good. It's better than good. So that's why this book is titled Good to Great. And what he say about all this good to great, of this great company does in hiring their people, their candidates. He said, all these companies, the good to great companies, they place more emphasis on character as compared to education background, skills, and special knowledge or work experience. These are good testimony about all the Western companies, those listed in Fortune 500. what do they emphasize in their recruitment or hiring decision? I'm sure you are familiar with this logo, the golden arch, McDonald's. What McDonald's, this recruitment advertisement came out in China. I translated in English, into English. What did they say about their recruitment policy? They stress on your potential. He say other company, other employers look for your experience. Whereas in McDonald's, we don't look for your experience, but we explore your potential. What does it mean? That means we emphasize more on your character. We emphasize the stress on character. And he said, if you go to McDonald's, you'll be surprised to see any person, any worker that are more elderly there. Mostly they employ youngster. That's why he said that it may sound a bit crazy to you, to others, but they just believe in the potential of youngster. They just believe in the potential of youngsters. Okay. So in other words, McDonald's also stresses on character. So we can come to a conclusion that for most progressive organizations, like the 4 that we have gone through, when they hire staff, they put more weight on character, but without neglecting the importance of skill development through training. Okay. Character, let me make a conclusion. Character is a driving force behind every performance. That's why we emphasize that you must employ character. And character is a critical success factor behind every success story. In every position, if you want your candidates to do well in his job, the most important things that he need to possess is the positive character. Okay, so far so good. Any question that you want to ask me?
Yeah, participants, any questions, you can type in the chat box or directly open your mic to talk to our Mr. Jeffrey. Any questions? So, okay. So in fact, Sifu, I got a question from this Leong. Okay, Leong is asking a questions. Okay, he's asking these questions. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Sifu, in the view of 用人不疑，疑人不用. Okay, I translate a little bit. So in English, simply put, is trust the person in position. So in this statement, how do you define Mr. Jeffrey? Because when I hire somebody, right? So we should trust him and empower him to do his job, right? So in this statement, 用人不疑，疑人不用. This statement, how do you define it? How do you?
It says that when you have decided to employ certain person, you have to trust him and let him utilize his strength and ability. But it doesn't mean that you should trust a person blindly. It's based on one condition, that person possesses all the quality that you want. You cannot trust and trust all the responsibility to any stranger whom you do not know.
That's true. That's true.
Uh.
Okay, so Leong, I hope your questions are answered. Okay. So any more questions? All right.
There is a certain condition, huh?
Hmm.
If you, after the interview, you have uncovered that this candidate, so-called candidates, possess certain character that you want, he has the right skills and knowledge, and you think he's a perfect candidate for you, then you should trust him. If you want to, you think that he can do a good job, and then you don't trust his ability, then that is very contradictory. Oh. But that is based on one condition, that he is the correct candidate that you believe. You believe he is the correct candidate. That is the fundamental condition. You cannot just entrust a responsibility to any Tom and Harry, because if you do that, you'll be in big trouble. But after you have decided, you are convinced that he is the correct person that you can rely on, then give him all the opportunity to perform his best. Give him opportunity, give him chances to do his best. Okay or not?
Okay, Leong, you got it. Okay, thanks, Libu, for your clarification. Okay, so we got two more questions from Wan Umi. Okay, Sifu Jeffrey, what is the character for customer service representative?
Oh, actually, just now we talked about those character. Actually, is common for many positions. Let's say this, you want a person to fill out the position of a customer service. So his character, he must be what? Service oriented, customer focused, he must be caring, he must be pleasant, he must be what do you call it? Very people oriented.
True.
He must be proactive. He must be stable. Or he cannot be very emotional.
Okay. So, all right. So this is another questions from same person, Wan Umi. She asked, what is the difference between character and attitude? Any difference between them? Between character and attitude, where is the difference?
Character and
Attitude.
or attitude.
Mm.
Character and attitude. The difference is very, very mild, very small. I think you can take them as being the same. Probably attitude is action. Or your the way you do things.
Yes.
Your reaction towards certain things. Character, I would say they are about the same. It's not meaningful. It's not meaningful to try to differentiate between the two. Whether it's character as attitude, those are what you call an element of competency that not likely can be changed. You can take them as being the same. What is important is among the three elements of competency, the so-called character and attitude cannot be easily changed. So therefore, when you look for the right candidates, you must pay specific importance to character or attitude.
I see. Okay, cool. So, okay, another questions come from Sandy Koo. Okay, Mr. Jeffrey, do you use two assessment like DISC or IQ test to assess the candidate?
DISC is so-called, what DISC do is to categorize a person, your candidate's character into different category. We call it character profiling. Whether he belongs to the D character, dominant, or he belongs to an influencer, or he belongs to S character, or a compliance character. DISC only help you to categorize them into these 4 categories. But DISC has a lot of limitation. DISC cannot tell you whether this person is hardworking or not. DISC cannot tell you this person is determined or not. There are a lot of things that DISC fail to unveil. So DISC is only an additional tool. Don't think that DISC can give you the answer, the final answer. I have come across many occasions where many people told me that, oh, after I've uncovered these candidates that he belonged to this character A, B, C, D. And after 3 months, he told me that he have employed the wrong candidates. Because why? Because the DISC did not give you all the information that you need about character. Okay, DISC is only an additional tool. You still need to uncover more information about a candidate's character through interview. As I said, a person's character may not be able to be noticed externally through his appearance, but is reflected on his behavior or through the certain action that he has taken in dealing with certain important events. So you need to uncover those event-related behavior and action. From there, you can analyze and infer more about his character that would otherwise be invisible to you. Don't rely too much on this DISC. Just take it as an additional tools. Okay, it is not complete. I found that it's not complete. I cannot say that it's useless, but I can safely say that it's not complete, because one thing, can DISC tell you a person is hardworking or not? Can DISC tell you that the person is very determined? No. There are a lot of gray area that cannot be unveiled in this so-called DISC techniques. Okay, I have been through 2 DISC seminar, one conducted in English, one conducted in Mandarin. That is my discovery.
Okay, thanks, Wu Dengao. Thank you for your explanation. Okay, so this question will be from Rick. Okay, Rick, I think this one later Sifu will share more about your questions. Okay, so we can answer it now. Okay, we answer one more questions before we move on now. Okay, so Michelle asked, Sifu, how about Harrison assessment tool? How do you think this tool, Harrison assessment tool? Have you ever come across this?
Harrison.
Harrison assessment tool.
My apology, I have not come across this name yet.
Doesn't matter, okay? All right. So, okay.
What kind of tool is it? Is it a question and answer things?
Okay. Rick explained that Harrison assessment is a psychometric assessment tool.
Or psychometric.
Psychometric.
Yeah. I believe if I've not been through this I've not seen these assessment tools in action, but if I'm not wrong, I believe it's a type of quiz, question and answer type, whereby you'll be asked certain question and they will be from your answer, they will try to make certain inference or generalization about your character based on some statistical analysis or psychological theory. Am I right?
I think yes. Okay.
So whatever it is, I cannot really comment lah. I really not really comment. But any things that deal with question and answer, I think there's always an element of what you call error. You know, especially those questions. Sometimes when answering a question, you may feel like actually two different answers are all possible. Oh, just like DASC, it also relies on question and answer. I've sit through the questionnaire myself. Sometimes after answering the question, I feel that, hey, actually I should have answered it the other way. You know, and there's no room for you to verify further if you are doubtful. Whereas in actual interviewing, if you are not too sure about the answer given by the candidate, you can always follow up with another question to seek clarification further. This so-called test is more of a, I would say is a one-way traffic. You cannot interact. You know, you cannot interact on the answer given. You cannot seek further clarification.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay. So I think that's it now. Okay. For other participants, right? If you want to know more about what is Harrison assessments, right? One of our friends, Mr. Saw, already sent in the link, attached the link in our chat room, so you can click on it and understand more about that, lah. Okay. So I think that is for our Q&A session for part 1. So we'll carry on later. Mr. Jeffrey, so you may continue your presentation now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, I'd like to ask you, do you know how headhunter companies select their candidates? Can you make a wild guess? Put in your chat box. Let's interact a little bit. Oh, no. Working experience. Oh, experience. Okay. Not exactly so. I'm sorry to say that I have been hunted before by a headhunter company. After, of course, I have to list down all my employment history in the application form. But at the end of the day, he asked me to list down my past achievements. My past achievement. So actually, headhunter companies make their hiring decision based on your past experience plus achievement. So that is in line with what we have emphasized just now. Mere experience itself is not constructive, it's not productive. Experience without achievement is not meaningful at all. So they look for achievement in your past experience. The reason being, if a candidate can demonstrate good achievement or track record in his past achievement, certainly he possesses certain competency, certain great character, great skill and ability, and certain knowledge. So without achievement, it's not, it could be a misleading, you may misfire. So remember, in future, when you hire your candidates based on experience plus achievement, so that means you must always look for achievement. No achievement, don't consider. Because behind every achievement, there's always a critical success factor known as competency, which are the human attributes of these candidates to ensure that he can perform the job well. Okay? Now, how reliable is this competency-based hiring? Statistics have shown that the accuracy is more than 80%. Meaning to say that if you were to rely on this competency base, if you were to hire your candidate based on competency, the chances that your selected candidate will do his job well is more than 80%. So which type of hiring criteria do you want to go for? Experience-based hiring or hiring based on competency? I'm sure you have the answer yourself. You have the answer yourself, right? You know, competency come from where? Competency cannot come from the air. Competency is always pertinent to certain job function. So how can we uncover a person's competency? Of course, through his job, through his achievement, through the way he tackle his challenges. Okay, so of course, this experience is only I would say the platform for you to uncover his competency. So not just experience alone. For your info, this competency-based hiring method is used by almost majority of the Fortune 500 companies. You know, Fortune 500 companies are basically all the best company in the world. You know, in terms of their revenues, in terms of their profitability, and if they commonly use these hiring techniques based on competency, it can never be wrong. It can never be wrong. Okay, so let's learn from all these progressive company and follow their policy, their hiring policy to go to base on competency. Okay, so that you can have a higher accuracy. That is to hire character. Among the competency element, character is the most important thing. If you hire a person with the wrong character, no matter how knowledgeable he is, no matter how strong his skills are, they may not be put into good use, because character is a driving force behind every performance. Okay, higher character, higher competency, higher character. Next, how can we uncover character? Character cannot be observed. It's not visible externally. Character can only need to be uncovered. Character is only reflected on certain behavior through his behavior. So we have to probe deeper to find out more about his character. It's very true, as I mentioned just now, it's difficult to identify competency, whether it's in terms of knowledge, skill, or character. Because you cannot see it. You also cannot touch it. You also cannot smell it. So you cannot base on your gut feel to ascertain whether your candidate have this so-called knowledge, skill, and character or not. It involves certain skills and certain tools and techniques. It involves certain tools and techniques. That is what I'm going to teach you afterwards. Okay. Do you agree with me that character is manifested or reflected in a person's behavior. In a person's behavior or action that he has taken in dealing with in pursuing, in going after achievements, or in dealing with certain challenges. If you agree with me, put 1 in your checkbox. Do you believe that character is reflected in a person's behavior and through his action? Yes, good. So you know how to look for character now. Focus on a person's behavior and action. What kind of behavior and action? In dealing with achievements and challenges. These so-called achievements and challenges, we call them significant events or happening. They are very important events, isn't it? Achievements are important events in your life or even your employment history. So is overcoming challenges. These are called significant events. So in your interviewing, what you need to do is to ask them about, to focus on all these significant events such as achievement and challenges. So from their behavior, from the action they have taken to deal with all these 2 different elements, then you can have a clue or have a glimpse of his possible character. Significant events to uncover the competency involved. How do we do it? Let me illustrate this to you. To uncover your candidate's competency, you have to focus on some significant event. What sort of significant event? In terms of achievement or challenges. And this significant event can either come from his employment history or can also come from his education journey. Okay? Both employment history and education journeys, I'm sure he may come across many challenges or he may have achieved certain achievements. So the action that he have taken or his behavior in dealing with all these events will give you a clue as to his character or to his ability or to his certain specific knowledge involved. And how do you uncover it? Through interview. So interview is actually the opportunity for you to uncover a person's character. So of course, in order to do that, you need to employ certain skill and techniques, certain tools and techniques successfully. So interviewing is not just asking some superficial question. Successful interview is more about dealing deep into his inner self through the act of asking questions to uncover some possible information that cannot be seen otherwise. Now, interviewing is like gold mining. You know, in gold mining, you cannot see the gold that lies 2,000 feet below the ground. So you need to involve certain tools and techniques. You need to have certain professional techniques or knowledge. Now, the tools involved or the techniques involved in uncovering a person's character or competency during an interview is by asking probing question. What is the meaning of probing question? probing questions are questions that are asked to uncover certain invisible informations or facts. What you do is to construct or structure question one after another in order to uncover a satisfactory answer or information. To get a deeper knowledge about a certain subject matter, to get a deeper understanding about your potential candidates. Now, what do you do? In practicing, in asking probing question, let's say when you ask your first question and the answer given by your candidate is a little bit vague, not clear, or you require more sufficient information. So what do? You need to ask a follow-up question based on the what? Based on the answer given earlier by your candidate pertaining to the first question. So you do this repeatedly, one after another. If you can do it 3-4 times by constructing 4 different related questions, one after another, you should be able to uncover some valuable information about that candidate that lie deep inside his inner self. Believe me, you do it, you will be so amazed and so excited with your discovery. Afterward, I will illustrate, I will simulate an exercise to take you through the actual process of asking probing question in an interview. Okay, let's. Now. Let me repeat. You probe his past, ask about his past achievement and challenges, and also follow up. Ask him how did he manage to do it, manage to attain the achievement, manage to overcome the challenges, and also ask him about certain action that he have taken. How did he do it, and why did he choose to undertake that certain action? From the answer given, you will be able to uncover a lot of information about his character, about his skills, about certain specific knowledge involved. Okay? Now, before an interview, you need to go through the job responsibility of the position. You have to be very sure so that you know, in order to do well, to carry out those job functions well, successfully, what sort of competency does your candidate requires? What sort of knowledge, what sort of skills, what sort of character? You have to know yourself. What sort of candidate are you looking for? If you don't know this, then you just walk into the interviewing room. That is disaster. So you have to very clear with yourself what type of candidates are you looking for first. How? You have to know what type of job function do you require him to execute. So in order to do this particular job well, he most likely required to possess what sort of character, what sort of skill, and what sort of knowledge. You have to be very sure. Don't just walk into an interviewing room before making any preparation. Okay. Having done that, then you need to structure your question that you want to ask during the interview. I believe in a traditional interviewing approach, we never do this. We just walk into the interviewing room and then we ask our question randomly. That means Your questions are not structured. Different interviewer will come up with a different question. And for the same interviewer to ask different candidates, his question may not be the same again. So traditional interviewing techniques, the questioning are not structured, are very random. That means you can do it at your own free will. So therefore, it's not very rational. It's not very rational, not very professional. Now, how do we begin? Let me take you through. You need to zoom in his employment history and education background. Because just now we say that we need to focus on his significant events in his employment career or in his education journey. So this is the important area, the key result area that you should zoom in. You should focus, not other things. Okay. Now, you don't have to waste your time to talk about ask him about his personal details like family background, linguistic command, how many language can he is he well versed, and personal details like that. No, unless you are very sure that he is your desired candidates, then only you ask this question to further understand his background. If he's before you arrive at this confirmation, don't waste your time. It's not necessary. If you are not too sure whether he's your ideal candidate or not, why do you want to find out about his family background and so forth? It's a waste of time. You do that only after you are confirmed. You have confirmed that he is the one that you want. Then, of course, you like to know more about his family background, his personal details, and other things. Okay, zoom in into employment history and education background in every interview. Okay. Now, this is the part of the employment history in the application form, job application form. Zoom into this column, this area, and then go through each position one by one in terms of the job responsibility involved. Okay. And then on each position, ask him, did he have any past achievement to share with you? Or did he encounter any challenges while doing while discharging that portfolio? And then ask him further. If he say, oh, he have certain achievement, how did he achieve it? If he say, I don't have any achievement, then certainly do you encounter certain challenges? Certainly, yes. Then how do you overcome those challenges? If a person neither have any past achievement nor challenges, then you can ask him to go home. Next, go through his education background, his education, talk about his education journey. Again, from tertiary education to high school education, ask him about whether he have any achievement or success stories or anything that he's proud of, or any challenges that he have encountered and have successfully overcome. And how did he do it? Probe on these important events, these important areas, because these are the areas for you to uncover his competency in terms of character, in terms of skills and certain knowledge. Okay. Competency interviewing is very structured. This is what is significantly different from our traditional, conventional interview. A very structured interviewing process. Very scientific, very organized. Now, competency interview is applicable to all type of position, whether it's senior, middle level, or lower level. It's applicable to all position. After that, I will give you 10 different examples to illustrate how we can apply this interviewing techniques for all different positions. Now, for clerical staff or lower level employees, they may not have the success story to share with you. Then you can opt for additional information or question, like ask them to talk about their personal strengths and weaknesses, or their personal preference, or the reason for them leaving their ex company, their ex position. Or this will give you a lot of valuable information pertaining to their character, to their, to their certain skills and certain behavior. Okay. Okay, let's go to the interviewing in action. Okay. Now, position number one, example one is in terms of a sales position, sales executive. So how can you utilize or apply this competence-based interviewing technique to uncover their competency? Let's do it together. Number one, as you have stressed earlier, zoom in on his employment history. Employment history and nothing else. Okay, straight away go into his employment history column, and then go through each position one by one. Okay, ask him to talk about what? Can you please tell us your job responsibility in this position? Okay, you can ask further question from the answer that he has given to you. If you are not satisfactory, or if you require for additional information, ask another follow-up question, so that you can have the sufficient information that you need. Okay, ask him whether he likes this job or not, and why does he like this job. Okay. Do you know why we want to ask him this question? Do you like this job? And why did you like this job? There is a purpose behind. If his answer is yes, then since he liked this job, certainly after that you want to ask him to share his past achievement on this job with you. He probably have no reason to say that he has no achievement. Since he liked this job so much, and then a person who like a particular job so much and have no achievement to share, then I don't know what type of person he is. He may not be the right candidate that you want. Okay. Probe on his past, his past achievement and challenges. Ask him about his past achievement and challenges, and how did he achieve it? How did he manage to overcome it? These are very important and critical questions that can give you critical information. They are very reliable. If you ask this question, you will certainly get the answer that you want. Trust me, you try it yourself, you will be very amazed with your discovery. From employment history to education journey, one by one, one by one. And then you can verify further if it's necessary. Okay. Okay. Probing question. Probing. That means one after another if you are not satisfied with the answer. And then from here, you will get some valuable information about his achievement, about how he deal with his challenges. Then based on the finding here, you have to do some analysis to uncover his character involved, because his answer will not tell you, oh, my character is like this, my character is like that. No, those information, he only disclosed information in terms of his behavior and the reason he undertakes certain action. So you have to ask yourself, why did he take this action? His action certain can tell something a lot about his behavior, or about his character. After that, I will give you an example to illustrate this point. Any sales achievement to share? Any challenges? Any sales achievement, how do you make it? Any challenges, how do you overcome it? And then in terms of education journey, any success story to share? And how do you make it? In terms of challenges, how do you overcome it? It's very straightforward. It's very structured. If you have the will to apply it, I don't think you will have much difficulty to do it. It's whether you want it or not. It's not difficult to master it at all. It's very simple. It doesn't involve a lot of sophisticated knowledge. Okay, let me take you through a probing question, asking the act of the process of asking probing question in an interview. Okay, now you can ask him, like I mentioned earlier, on that particular position, do you have any great result to share with us? Let's see what answer your candidate may give you. There could be many types of answer. Assuming that the answer is as follows. In 2019, I topped the performance list in terms of percentage of growth. Wow, that is certainly some achievement in terms of percentage growth. And he topped the performance list. So I'm sure you will be interested to find out more about his performance. From here, you don't know about the amount involved. So you can structure another question to ask him further about this performance. Now, I can structure the question like this. Oh, that's great. What is the sales value involved? How many million involved? And what is the percentage growth, 50% or 10%? Can you please elaborate further? Ask him a follow-up question like this. Let's see what sort of answer can you uncover them, which is more in-depth than the answer given earlier in question 1. Or he said, oh, my sales amount was 3 million and the percentage growth was 50%. Oh, so you have uncovered additional information about his performance already through question number 2. Okay, at least you know now his performance, his sales value was 3 million and the growth was 50%. Wow. Without asking question number 2, you will never be able to uncover this additional information given in the answer for question number 2. I can structure another question, a follow-up question. Wow, that is 1 million growth. That means his in 2018, his sales was 2 million. So in 2019, he increased by 1 million. So they make it up to 3 million. And in terms of percentage of growth is 1 million over 2 million. That is 50% growth. Well, how did you do it? I'm excited to find out how did you do it. Can you share with us? Let's take a look at one answer. additional answer can you uncover from there? Information. Oh, I send my regards to every customer once a week. This is what he what he did in order to achieve that, to attain the achievement. Every week, without fail, he telephone or he WhatsApp his customer once a week. So question 3 furnish you with additional information about this person anymore, isn't it? From here, probably you can see a little bit about his character. I'm sure you can sense that he's a very determined person. He's very hardworking. Every week you need to make, without fail, need to make a call or contact your customer. That is a great determination. Okay. Now, wow, that is very great. Why did you choose to do it? Why did you choose to do so? Oh, his action involved was to send regard or to call his customer either through a phone or through WhatsApp every week. And this is an action taken. I'd like to know what is the motive behind this action. What was my intention involved? The answer will certainly uncover some valuable information about his character, about his behavior. What is his answer? You will be marveled by his answer, the answer given. He said, to monitor their progress and to accelerate our bonding. Okay, this is a typical process of probing in action. Now, so from here, from the 4 different questions given, you have uncovered 4 different answers, and one on top of the one in additional to the other, which is more valuable than the first one. Now, from here, we can analyze and make some inference, some deduction. What sort of character he involved? Can you tell me what sort of character involved? From these 4 different questions or 4 different answers, from 4 different answers. Let's say, let's take a look at this answer number 3. I send my regards to my customer once a week. What can from this answer, what sort of inference or deduction or conclusion can you make about this person's character? Can anybody put it in the chat box? I want to see some wonderful the answer here. Anybody? Yes, responsible, proactive. Yes, very correct. Persistent, well done. Determined, yes, exactly. I love it. What else? Very caring, very hardworking. Yes, exactly. Do you think he's intelligent? He's very passionate about his job. Yes. Without passion, he will not bother to do all this, isn't it? Is he very intelligent? Oh, very strategic thinking. Oh, very self-motivated. Very take extra initiative. Wow, good, good, good. I love that. Oh, yes, he's an achiever. Yes, an achiever will always take all the necessary initiative in order to achieve his goal. Customer oriented, yes, exactly. Because he cares for his customer. He cares for their progress, isn't it? Oh, independent, yes. Thick face, what do you mean by thick face? Oh, 脸皮厚啊. I think from here, if you were to call a customer every week. Certainly, you must have some communication skill. You know what to talk to your customer. Otherwise, your customer will tell you, you don't need to call me every week lah. Oh, we have nothing to talk. So communication skill is certainly involved, right? Interpersonal skill. Result oriented. Yes, okay. He's very mindful about relationship, about the bonding, customer relationship. Do you like to engage this type of salesperson? Tell me, do you like to engage this type of salesperson if you were to come across somebody like him? Yes, certainly, isn't it? Oh, wonderful. Yes. So you can see the beauty of this probing question in interviewing. Imagine if you don't ask this probing question, can you uncover all this valuable information in terms of his character? I'm sure the answer is no, because you cannot judge whether he's hardworking, he's determined, he's result oriented or not. You cannot see, you cannot feel, you cannot touch. All these are reflected through his behavior, through certain action initiative that he has taken, and the reason behind all this behavior and initiative. That will give you a clue pertaining his character, his positive character. So all these are valuable information. So can you see the beauty of probing question in interviewing? So try to do it. It's not difficult. The questions are structured. You just ask this way. If you were to do it once, you will be able to do it twice and even better. Wow, good. Well done, well done. I'm glad. Okay, let's continue. So from here, what are the competency uncovered from all those that you have written just now? You have in the check box. Probably we can summarize them together. You have he's intelligent, he's strategic, he's customer focused, he's determined, he's disciplined, he's hardworking, he had people skill. He also have customer knowledge. Remember, imagine if you call your customer every week, certainly you have a good knowledge about your customer, what he like, about his progress, a lot of things about your customer. Now, all this character and all these skills, all this knowledge, if you don't uncover, you don't ask probing question, you will never be possible to discover or to make all this discovery. So probing question in interviewing is a valuable tools. It's a valuable tools and techniques. Let's do it. From now on, let's try to practice it, put it into action. Yeah, at the end of the interview, from the discovery that you have made, you must record them down and then do grade rating. Rate them individually in terms of 1 to 8, as I've illustrated in this slide here. Why do you need to rate them? Because this is necessary for easy comparison and reference later. You may have many candidates who come to apply for the same job. Then it's easier for you to compare in terms of specific character, in terms of specific skill. You want to know who score a higher rate. Okay. Let's go through another example. Marketing executive. The SOP is the same. Do the same. Okay, zoom in on employment history and position. Go through each position one by one and ask them to explain, to relate to you about their job function. Okay, and ask them whether they like this job or not and why. Even from this one or two questions, you can already have some glimpse, have some clue as to his character. So if you know how to ask question, ask the right question, you can always uncover a lot of valuable information. Asking question is a wonderful weapon. It's a wonderful tool, asking question. Ask about his past achievement in marketing and the challenges he has come across. How did he manage to attain it, to make it, and also how did he handle those challenges? Go through this process from employment history to education journey and verify if further if it's necessary. And finally, you must analyze your finding. Analyze the finding from this interview in terms of information. You need to translate them into competency-related information like character, like skills, or like knowledge. Okay, because the answer given by your candidates will not directly reflected in terms of character. He won't tell you that I'm very hardworking. Not many candidates will say so. He only tells you that I did this, I did that, which are actions oriented or behavior related. So from the action taken and from the behavior exhibited, you have to analyze further, try to make some inference, try to deduce his character involved. Okay, so you have to be analytical yourself. This part you have to use a little bit of your brain. Ask him about any to share with you about his marketing success. How did he make it? And any challenges did he encounter in the course of doing his job? How did he manage to overcome it? Then after going through all the employment history, job by job, then switch to his education journey. Sometimes you maybe to get some information, invaluable information from his job and employment history. Sometimes you can also get additional information from his education journey. So do both, okay? And question number 7 is a question to verify further about the skills that you have uncovered about the candidates. Now, what do you need to do? Ask him to show you some documents or some evidence to support his claim. In marketing, can be in terms of the campaign that he have undertaken, he have initiated, a new product he has developed, or an advertisement that he has designed or whatever. Or ask him to show his actual material to support his achievement. Okay? Then record down all the finding. Do the appropriate rating, relevant rating, 1 to 10 for easy reference. I saw one question here. Why 1 to 8? It's not 1 to 8, 1 to 10. You can either rate it 1 to 5. That means 5 is if you rate it from 1 to 5, that means 5 is the maximum. If you rate it to 1 to 10, that means 10 is the maximum. That's up to you. These are just two different rating schemes, 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. Okay. Let's go through another position, a graphic designer. Can we apply the same SOP to tackle this position? Yes, the answer is yes. Do exactly the same thing. It's not difficult. Anybody can do it if you have the desire. Again, zoom into his or her employment history, and then touch on each position. Okay, one by one. Then ask him to talk about his job responsibility on each position, and also how did he like that job, to uncover whether he's passionate about the job or not. This question probably can tell you whether that person is passionate about the job of a graphic designer, because passion is a very important criteria in terms of the character. You like to get someone who is passionate about the job he's doing, not simply just hunt for any job that come along. Ask about his past achievement and the challenges. How did he achieve it or overcome them? And then from the employment history to education journey, verify further if necessary, and analyze the finding in terms of information, which may not be to translate it into character or skills or competency related facts. Okay, you have to analyze it and then translate it into character or skills related information, facts. Any achievement to share with us? How did you make it? Any challenges? How did you overcome it? So same thing, do the same for education journey. So you probably realize that you need to focus on achievement and challenges, both in terms of job-wise or education-wise. Why? Because you want to uncover certain important behavior and action taken, initiative taken in dealing with all these events. So that will give you a valuable clue in terms of his character or competency. Now, do you have anything to support your achievement? Graphic designer, what are the things that you expect him to show to support his achievement? His graphic design, his packaging design, his advertising design, whatever design, his design material which he's proud of, or his award-winning design. Okay, you know, his work will say a lot about his capability, about those things he claimed, about those information that you have uncovered. The evidence will verify further, will give you further confidence about the things that you have uncovered. Again, record it down. A production executive, you can do the same. Okay. I no need to go through, is exactly the same. Okay. And just remember to analyze your finding at the end of the interview. You have to analyze and translate them into character-related or skill-related information and facts. Okay, you have to analyze it. Now, go through the same process. Now, for a production executive, ask him further in terms of the project that he have gone through. whether it's in terms of productivity improvement or QC improvement or process improvement. These are additional questions to uncover additional information about the capability of this person, okay? Record it down. Now, for an R&D job, also same thing. That's why I say this interview techniques is applicable to all positions. Okay, understand? The same SOP. Okay. Again, question number 7. Ask him, do you have anything to support your claim, your achievement? You want to do some actual material. It can be in terms of product or in terms of any advertising material or design material or whatever, or be a campaign or be an activity related end result. Okay. Now, HR executive, same thing. Zoom in on previous employment history, each position. Exactly the same. I don't want to repeat it. I don't need to repeat it. I just want to show you it's exactly the same. Okay. Now, lastly, analyze the finding. Don't forget about this step. Talk about achievements, both employment history and education journey. Do you have anything to support your achievement? Record it down. Finance executive. Same thing. So you find that this interview technique is very structured. It's applicable to all positions. You just have to memorize it, and then you can apply it throughout your whole life for all positions. Analyze, everything is standardized. It's SOP, standard operating questioning procedure. For a finance person, you can ask him further about some additional project that may be involved. Were you involved in preparing P&L, profit and loss report, balance sheet report, cash flow planning, or even annual budgeting? Whether he have done that or not will give you talks about his capability and his skills about these candidates. These are the valuable information. You probably cannot get this information just based on application form. That's why you need to ask. You need to uncover through the art of asking the right question. Again, now, knowledge, what kind of knowledge? ACCA lah, finance management now, whatever. Okay. Different companies, different candidates, the discovery may not be the same. Different candidates, the knowledge involved may not be the same. So, okay. Export executive, same thing. If you have an export department, everything, same thing, do the same. Okay. Do you have any export achievement to share? Now, finally, you can ask him another further question to further verify his capability. Ask him, do you know about Incoterms? Incoterms means international commercial terms, such as FOB, CIF, CNF, door-to-door, things like that. That means the terms of international commercial transaction. You can also ask him, what do you know about this mode of payment in export? For example, what do you call that? TT lah, LC lah, LC at site, 30 days LC, Usen LC, and so forth. From here, you can find out more about his knowledge about this export trade, export business. Okay. Okay. Finally, manager. Same thing. Go through position one by one, talk about his job responsibility. Again, everything is being the same. Analyze your finding to uncover possible competency. Okay. Now, same thing. Now, you can ask further question like, what is your leadership style? Whether he's a dictator, a dictatorial type, or whether he's a democratic leader, whether I don't know, he's a mixture of these two. You find out, you like to know his leadership style, isn't it? And then record it down accordingly. Now, finally, we talk about clerks. Now, same thing, go through the same thing. Okay. The only thing about this clerical position and lower rank staff is that they may not have any success story to share with you because of their level. You don't ask a production operator, do you have any success story to share? They may not have it. They are very junior. So you can offer another type of questions. Tell me about your strength. What is your strength? What is your weaknesses or area for improvement? How do you utilize your strength at work? How do you improve? How can you improve your weakness? Things like that. Question like that to uncover pertinent information about his character. Okay, about his skills. Okay. And then record it down. Now, let me summarize. Competency involves knowledge, skill, ability, and character. Now, in a hiring position, of course, if you come across someone who have a correct blend combination of the three, that is the most ideal candidate. The most ideal candidate. Okay. But if that ideal candidate doesn't combine, what do? You can only find someone who possess the certain character and don't have certain skill. What do? You go for your second choice. What is your second choice? Stress on character plus certain critical knowledge and skill. What do we mean by critical knowledge? For example, if you are looking for a finance position, a financial knowledge and qualification is certainly necessary. Or engineering position, engineering knowledge is certainly necessary. So is marketing, so is legal or medical or whatever. Whatever, character is always a must. Character is always a must. Any shortfall in terms of certain knowledge and skill can always be fixed, can always be bridged, can always be improved through training and development. Okay, in your actual hiring scenario, you may come across 8 different types of candidates. Number one, same industry, same position with achievement. Wow, that is godsend candidate, choice number one. Number two, same position with achievement, but from a different industry, choice number two. What do we mean by same position? But if you are looking for a sales candidates, then this is a sales position. Same industry, that means the same industry as you. If you are in the electrical industry, you want to look for a sales position. If that person comes from the electrical industry as you are, same industry as you are, same position as you want to fill up, and with achievement, that is choice number one. Choice number 2, from a different industry, involving different product, but still in the same position, sales position, same achievement. That is choice number 2. Oh, now category 3 and 4, same industry, different position, but with achievement. What is important is with achievement. Then it's also a good choice. You have to see whether it's relevant or not. Whether, what do you mean by relevance? Whether the characters is relevant to that different to this new position or not. Character and skill. You have to look at the character and skills. Because character may not be able to change. If it's different industry, different position, but with achievement, fine, you can also consider. My existing national sales manager was formerly from a marketing function. He opted to leave his marketing function and join the sales team. And today he's the national sales manager. Okay. So from a marketing function can go to a different function. This is for people who do not have prior working experience, only education achievement. Well, like McDonald's, go for their character, no need to go for work experience. Go for character, go for potential. Invest on their potential. For people who have zero achievement, I leave that to you. Who have been in the market for many years, but for 20 years, for 10 years, but do not have any achievement to share. I leave that to you to decide. I leave that to you. Okay. Now, competency, stress on character. Look for some critical knowledge and skill. For example, sales position, you need to have selling skills. You need to have the ability to express yourself. These are must. You don't employ a person who cannot even talk properly. To fill out a finance position, financial knowledge is certainly important. Having said that, character is still the most important thing of all. And no need from the same industry, no need involve similar product, no need necessary from the same position. You can consider invest on their potential. Now, the good thing about this competency hiring interviewing techniques is high success rate, improve the quality of hire, reduce turnover rate, and cost saving. You don't waste a lot of money in employing and interview people. Okay, what do you mean by favor diversity? In this technique, you don't talk about age. 50 years old, 70 years old may not an issue. So we are talking about diversity. You don't require people to have how many years of working experience or be beyond a certain age you do not want to accept. No. It's all basically about achievement, about competency, about result. Okay. Now, finally, knowledge is not power until it's applied. Today, you have been through this session with me. If you don't apply, it's wasteless. You only become satisfied for a little while it's still in your mind. After a little while, it may vanish. Learning without applying is like plowing your land without sowing your seeds. You will never receive your harvest. So do you want to apply what you have just learned? Yes or not? Let me see in your chat box. Are you willing to apply, to try to apply what you have learned? Yes, please do so. Otherwise, you are wasting my effort, Okay. And you also wasting opportunity for yourself to improve your company or your performance. So in order to change anything, it involves desire, determination, and action. Do you have these three things with you? Do you have desire? Do you have the desire to change? Do you have the determination? And are you persistent to turn it into action? If your answer is yes, I'm more than willing to help you. No charges. Okay, I'm more than willing to help you. You can PM me, discuss with me, or you can just we can meet up for a cup of tea. Oh, okay. Up to here, any question you'd like to ask?
Okay, so Sibu, hey, anyone is unmute himself? Everyone is talking?
Good evening, I'm Dan Vincent. Can I ask Master Jeffy? This Mandarin 江山易改，本性难移啦。The character and these people character actually is very important
Yes.
As throughout the whole talk from you that means if we find out in the interview process, this guy like the character is we feel that he is not, the character is not so good. I mean we can't train him or change him, not easy lah.
Because competency involves three things: character, skills, and knowledge. If you want to employ a chef, cooking skill can be trained, but character cannot change. If the chef is not reliable, you cannot count on him to do his job spontaneously by himself. Character is the most important thing, as you have rightly said. It's difficult to, it's easy to change a landscape. 江山易改，本性难移. It's difficult to change a person's character.
Yeah,
so try your luck lah. Don't make life difficult for yourself.
Okay, understood. The main word, this sentence or this how we is very meaningful actually.
Yes.
Okay, so Sibu, why don't you take a break first and have a sip of water? Later we'll go back to the Q&A session because we still have some information sharing. Yeah.
Okay, until what time? 5:30.
With 5 minutes. We take 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes. You just
okay.
Rest for 5 minutes first.
Okay.
Yeah. You take a sip of water first. Okay.
You worry I come out.
No. Okay for you, Ma. Right? Okay, so guys, later we have another Q&A session. So bear with us for a while. Just 5 minutes, a quick one. All right. So
my water is next to me. It's okay. We can continue.
Okay, sure. Okay, so thanks for everyone for your participation. Okay, so you guys learned a lot of things from our seafood. So next, Okay, so your feedback is highly appreciated and will help us to improve the quality of our upcoming events. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please do us this kind gesture by giving us some feedback form. So you can just scan for this feedback form, or you can, the barcode is there, and also you can just directly click on the link that our IT just attached in the chat box. Okay, so we really need your feedback. Okay, we want to keep on improving our quality. All right, thanks for your feedback. Many thanks for that. Okay, next. Okay, just now I mentioned that initially I mentioned that what is the 360 financial risk assessment service, right? So now I will talk to you what is it about. I believe that everyone we do or we take a medical checkup every once a year or 2-3 years once, right? So why do we do the medical checkup? Because we want to see whether we are healthy or not, right? Whether we are at the appropriate position or not. So this 360 surveys is like a checkup, but then it didn't check up physically, it check up financially. Okay, so there is a saying that prevention is always better than cure, right? So of course we must take the preventional cautionary measure first before the things happen. So these 360 degrees can help us to prevent us from, how to say, falling into the financial risk that we may face. Okay. Next.
Johnny,
yes.
I think the slide haven't updated in the screen yet.
Yeah, it's moving. The slide is moving.
Oh. Because I saw it's
Okay, I didn't close my slide.
okay.
Okay.
That's now it's
Everything
showing.
side is moving on.
Yeah.
My side here is good. Okay, so I carry on. Okay, carry on. So I believe that you guys, okay, the slide now. Oh man, okay. So there's a news about the consent judgment reported between the cancer patient and insurance firm. Why this happened? Because this cancer patient filed a lawsuit against the insurance company, for rejecting her claims. So why this happened? This is due to a non-disclosure matter. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that every one of us will buy one or two policies, right? But do you realize that, or are you aware there are more than 30 questions, health questions in the proposal form? And did you disclose it rightfully and truthfully? So in order to prevent this non-disclosure matter, right? So these 360-degree services will help you to prevent this from happening. Okay. So one question for you to ponder: is your policy a time bomb? Okay, this one is for you to consider. And then next. And IRB, where's IRB? IRB is Inland Revenue, which is the income tax or income tax. You see, income tax has the biggest power in our country. And do you think that the story will end after we pass away? No, definitely we will leave something. Whether we leave some assets or liabilities to our heirs or our families. So leave behind love or liabilities. So that's why with this 360 service, we can help you to check whether your asset and liabilities are balanced or not. Okay, and we can see assets worth 60 billion left unclaimed. So why all this happen? Part of the money comes from the insurance policy monies and the EPF. So because only these two products in Malaysia can have the nomination. So a lot of policy holders, they forget to put the nominee, or they didn't put the valid nominations. So in order to prevent this from happening, we will help you to check the nomination, whether you put the valid nomination or not. So the third question will be, have you made a valid nomination? Okay, so why this assessment? We can help you to check three things. Okay, the first thing will be family wealth checklist. And then the second thing will be wealth succession checklist. And third will be asset and liability sheet. Through checking all these sheets and checklists, we can come up with a full report and come along with a professional advice and suggestion to you on how to prevent this happen and how to manage your wealth. And at the end of the day, we want to do two things only. First, we take away your worries, and second, fulfilling your promise towards your families. Okay, so this is what we do. This is how we do. Okay, so for a little preview, on next Friday, we will have a online free webinar too. It's in 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So this one will be in the Mandarin version. The title is 如何善用大马遗产法令合法的避讳债务. Okay, so if you're interested, just scan the barcode and then register yourself. Right, let's see next. And don't worry, if you cannot scan the barcode right there, the registration link in the chat box. You can just click on that and register. And on next Saturday, we will have a event about the new trend after the pandemic. Okay, so this is an event starting from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Okay, if you're interested, you can register as well. Okay, so next. Okay, this is the most important things. Remember, I sincerely welcome you all to join our event group. We have two groups. The first is WhatsApp group, and the other one will be Telegram group. Okay, to feel free to join us because we will update you the first-hand event information to you all. So in case you want to join our event, you can just directly register there and join us. Okay, so next. Okay, this is the perk and this is the benefit for you all. We have a group, right? We have a WhatsApp group. We have a WhatsApp group with Mr. Jeffrey. Because later we will add Mr. Jeffrey call into the group so that in future time, shall you have any questions or inquiries, you can interact with Mr. Jeffrey. So Mr. Jeffrey will answer you there. Okay, so this is a golden opportunity, and do not leave the group. Do not leave the group. Otherwise, you will miss out the opportunity to have interaction with our Sifu. Okay, Mr. Jeffrey. Who's next? Okay, resume back to Q&A session. Okay, so Sifu, we can continue.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Any more questions? Okay, Sifu. So this question is for Mr. So. He asked, what are the advice to hire Gen Z, which means the millennials. So what is the advice that we can use in hiring the Gen Z? Yeah.
Okay, the competency requirement for hiring a person is applicable to all ages. Although the Gen Y, Gen Z, the character may not be exactly the same as those baby boomer, but doesn't matter. You need to make sure that they have the positive character that you want. The character must be positive. The Gen Y, Gen Z, and millennials, they differ from those baby boomers in terms of their behavior. But their behavior can differ, but it must be positive to the job.
Very cool.
No issue employing Gen Y, Gen Z, and Gen Z.
That's
Otherwise, you have no youngster to employ. You
That's
can
true.
employ old people.
That's true. We need new blood as well. Okay. The next question is from Sim. Okay, Sifu, any tips to know whether the candidate is telling the truth or telling us what we want to hear? How to differentiate whether the candidate is lying or telling the truth?
Okay. As you have heard of the saying, it's difficult to cover old lies with the new lies. Isn't it? A candidate cannot continuously cover up his lies one after another. That is not possible unless you have met a Low Chin, a champion Low Chin, which don't readily come along. You don't have to worry. Yeah. So that's one way of giving you the comfort zone. Don't worry. A person, people say 真的假不了，假的真不来。It's difficult for a person to bluff you in terms of his achievement. Then you ask him, how do you manage to achieve it? He managed to come up with a story to bluff you again. Then you continue to ask him why he managed to bluff you. It's not possible. Furthermore, there's another feature in the application form that you can further verify. Personal reference, isn't it? There's a column known as personal reference. That means anybody in the company whom you can refer to in terms of this candidate's performance or behavior or what he have claimed. And just now I have asked you I suggested that you use question number 7. Ask him, do you have any document to support your claim? Do you have any evidence to support your achievements? For a marketing guy, if you say, oh, I've done this, I've done that, blah, blah, blah. Can you have any evidence to support your achievement? The material that he have done will say a lot about his capability. Yeah, you know. Don't worry. Believe me, it will work.
Okay, so move on. Okay, next question is from Eddie Tiong. I'm not sure Eddie is still here or not. Okay, he asked that. Okay, Sifu, he has two candidates. Candidates A, he has the right skill, knowledge, character, and great past achievement. But then he just has a very short employment period, which is just less than 2 years in the past companies. Okay, this is for candidate A. Candidate B also with right skill, knowledge, character, and with longer employment period than candidate B. So in this situation, which candidate will consider as right candidate?
Same position.
You mentioned that. I think assume there is same position.
I think you need to find out more about him lah. Because just now I say you need to do your rating in terms of the finding ma. So if they have similar finding, you compare the rating, see who score higher marks. You need to consider carefully lah. If you really have such a, I don't know whether this is a hypothetical example or a real life example. If you have a real life example, you are invited to come and contact me. Show me. Probably after I can gather more information about these two different candidates, then I will be in a better position to advise you. Okay or not?
All right, Eddie. So take note, Eddie. Okay. So Sifu, wait, let me scroll up the chat to see more questions. Okay. I think we settled all the questions. All right. Anyone still have any questions? You may just open up your mind and interact with Sifu. Because in the chat box, I found none. Okay. So I think that's it. No more question. Okay, Sifu, that's it. Do you have any more questions? We said all questions already. Okay, so thanks. All right, so why don't we all type your appreciation message to our Sifu, okay? Because you already talked more than 3 hours. No, 2.5 hours, okay? So non-stop there, okay? So say thank you to our Sifu to show our appreciation. Okay, so Sifu, and that's it. All right. Sifu, you have a lot of fans, so to this sharing, you got a lot of fans, okay.
Actually, you're supposed to stop at 5:30 or 5 o'clock.
Stop at 5
Yes. I'm on time.
We just a little bit over time. Doesn't matter. You learn a lot. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay. So thank you all. All right. So that's it. So okay. So let me resume the slide. So once again, thanks for participation, and I would like to encourage you all to give us a feedback. Okay, because the feedback is highly appreciated and will help us to improve the quality of the upcoming events. Okay, so if you haven't done it, so you can just do it now to give us your sincere and good feedback about us. All right. So what's the next? Of course, we've got 2 channels for you to follow us. We got a Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Okay, welcome to like and follow us. We will persistently to feed you more information, more interesting and useful information to you. And of course, every Sunday we will have a different speaker to share with us on different interesting topic. Okay, so welcome all to join, and you can bring all right. So I think that's it for today. So wish you guys have a fruitful learning process. And remember, put it into action. Okay. So that's it. So thank you for all. So my name is Johnny. I'm good to be at your service. So I will see you guys next week. Bye bye. Thank you, Sifu. Bye bye.
Yeah, you can be the greatest. You can be the best. You can be the king.